Can anyone say for sure if people are dependent on computers or we are the one who create and control the extreme rise of smart technologies? Basically, thanks, Lugo.
Thank you.
Basically, just a few years ago, the term mobile app was unknown. And today we use it every day. So now, Luca, who is in charge of the management of the Blackberry developer ecosystem globally, will take over here to give us 5 tips on how to go to the market, starting from ideation to launch, when your startup is a real startup. Luca, welcome.
Thank you.
Stage is yours.
Thank you very much.
Sorry.
So good morning, everyone, and thank you very much for being here. My name is Luca, and I work for Blackberry. I manage the developer ecosystem globally, and that means that part of my job is to try to help developers to be successful. And this means to try to give them some tips in order for them to avoid common mistakes that we found really every day. So let's say that you are building a startup, and you really, are able to solve some important problems through your startups, and you say, okay, so I can build an app to fix that problem. And so your startup is actually a startApp, right? So you have a great idea, and you have lots of ways to build it, to create your app, but the problem is how to effectively market that app. So these are a couple of numbers about apps. So the market of apps, it is impressive, actually. And, many developers really found out that they can really make a lot of money with apps. And you are ready. You have your idea. OK, let's build this app and publish it and start making money. Is it easy? Well, it's actually, it is not easy. It is not easy because of those common mistakes I was speaking about earlier. The number one advice that I can give app developers, by the way, any app developer here? Or any startup working in the mobile space? OK, cool. So the number one advice I usually give to mobile app developers is target the right audience. It doesn't mean that publishing for a certain platform is the best choice for you. You can just think, OK, I will publish everywhere for any platform so I can get more users. But that's wrong. That's wrong because at the end of the day, maybe you don't know that you can make more money in a certain platform rather than the others. I will show you just quickly an example of a mobile game developer who published for iOS first, for Android later, and then for Blackberry. And at the end, he found out that he made more money for Blackberry. He would have never said that before, But because the problem is that, for example, that is valid. I will show you an example for Blackberry because I know them very well, but could have been the opposite. Maybe they could have published for Blackberry a certain app, and maybe it was not the right choice, OK? In this case, they made more money because he made more money because BlackBerry users, for example, are more willing to pay than others. And he didn't think of that before. So after that, this game developer, it was funny because he decided, OK, my next game is going to be just for BlackBerry. Let's try this and see what happens. And that's what happened. So this green bar is the revenues for the new game called Flycraft. And this bar instead is the sum of these 3 bars. So he made way more money published just for BlackBerry. He just was able to target the audience and to make this audience happy. So, I like to show this slide because many developers say, yeah, well, I want to grow my user base, I want to do this, I want to do that. But at the end, we don't work for free, right? So this is the main goal they want to reach. And they need to carefully target their audience in order to make sure they start making money with their app from day one. Second advice, choose the right tools. it is important when you start developing an app to choose the right tools for different reasons. You can have many choices. These are the choices available for BlackBerry, for example. And maybe you are an Android developer, you want to port your app to BlackBerry, and you have to know that you can run Android apps on BlackBerry 10 very easily. And maybe you didn't know that, and you chose maybe another, you rebuilt your game or your app, but you didn't know that you could have chosen the Android way. And right now it is very easy. You have multiple choices to develop an app. And it is very important to choose the right one from day one, because otherwise you will spend a lot of money and time trying to maintain that app. Maybe if you develop for different platforms and you use different tools for different platforms, it is very difficult to maintain that application and so on. So again, from day one, make sure to choose your tools very wisely. This is a very important advice. I like this. Don't be uninstalled. One of the main problems is that when you win a customer, when you win a new user, it's a great goal. But if that user uninstalls your app, it is done. It is very difficult to make that user install your app again. So make sure that your app, in particular, doesn't kill the phone of your user. That's one of the main mistakes that happen. You just are eager to publish your app. You want to publish as soon as you can, but it is not ready yet. And when the user downloads your app, installs your app, it immediately understands that his phone is dying, or you are killing the battery, and he will uninstall the app, and it's very difficult to get the user back. Beta testing, again, you have your app. You really look forward to publish your app to the store, but make sure to take the right time to beta test your app. So try to find friends, try to find a small user base that can really give you feedbacks, collect those feedbacks, and make sure that before publishing that application, you really have taken care of all the details, because an application on a mobile phone is not like a website. If you have an issue on a website, behind the scene you can fix that, and the day after everyone can see the fix, so it's not a problem. An app is different. For an app, you have to make sure that you don't have major problems when users install that application. Again, when you have you have a good user base, make sure to give support to users. I like to say your app is not intuitive as you think. Maybe it's very difficult to be used. You believe it's the best app to do what that app does, but in general, could not be the case. So collect feedbacks. Don't be afraid. Don't be angry if users say you are doing really a shitty app. Collect that feedback and try to make the next version better. So, if you build it, will they come? So what happens when you publish your application? You are there, and you are looking at the analytics. Okay, I want to see how many people will download my app. And you are frustrated if after a couple of days no one downloads that. And you have to think that maybe the reason for that is your fault. It's not because your app is not great, but it is because you are not marketing your app in the right way. So, advice number 4, sell your app. What it means? It means that you have to pay attention. So as soon as you have your app, you have to pay attention at how you sell your app. And you start selling your app when you publish your app to the store. And when you publish your app to the store, anyone who publishes an app knows that you have to add some assets in order to make sure that your app is visible in the store. And part of these assets are, for example, an image that the users can see when your app gets featured or gets more visibility in the store. Many times, we deal with lots of fantastic apps, but really bad images. So the user, the developer publishes an app, then it uploads a very bad image for featuring, and we will never feature it, even if the app is wonderful, because that image sucks. So, everything you do when you are publishing is very important to sell your app in the best way as possible. You have to pay attention. So when your app is done and ready to be published, then it starts another phase when you have to try to sell your app in the best way as possible. This is another example. This is mostly for Blackberry, but for example, there are some tactics in order to give your app more visibility. On Blackberry, for example, if your app is connected with BBM, our messaging platform, there are lots of ways to spread the word about your app. And so usually you get 15 to 20 times more downloads if your app is BBM connected. And so these are some tips. This is for Blackberry, but for other platforms there are other tactics. And you have to make sure that you use those tactics, because really those are very, very effective. Pricing model. So you have your app, you solved a big problem for users. Okay, how do you sell it? For free? Maybe you want to have a paid app. Maybe you want to have a subscription. So what do you think it is the best way to sell your app? It depends on the app. But mostly, we've seen that the best business model for an app is to provide the app for free and then to sell something inside the app. That's the best way, because you reach a huge user base. Of course, your app must be good, otherwise no one will get it. But you can reach a huge user base, and then you can start selling content or selling services or other stuff inside, features inside your app. Last but not least, advice number 5, make users happy. What does it mean? The image is very, tells you a lot. For one user that is telling you that your app sucks, all the others just uninstall your app. And so you have to make sure that when you start seeing that people are leaving, for example, bad reviews, or sending you emails about, your app is not working very well, many others are not telling you anything. They just remove your app and will never install that again. So make sure to manage complaints, and also consider that users upgrade very often. So make sure to create updates as many as you can, because also updating an app is a way to remind the user that your app exists and that maybe it is installed in the user's smartphone and so on. So there is a marketing element in upgrading very often. Of course, try to go beyond the emails. So try to be in touch with the user as much as you can, create a website for your app, and try to do everything to get in touch with the user and make sure that the user understands that you are willing to help him or her. So that he doesn't feel alone, because it's very bad, and there are also very popular apps that unfortunately don't behave in the right way, where very popular apps, and if you try to get in touch with a developer, it's impossible. Easier to get in touch with the president of the United States than with a developer. So make sure to avoid that. Be available for the user. Another important point, reviews. If you publish an app to the store too quickly, when your app is not that ready, you start getting bad reviews. Those bad reviews are a big problem, because whenever a user sees a bad review for your app, maybe was going to download it, but instead it changed his mind and maybe looks for something else. So make sure that you get good reviews since day one, because good reviews mean on average more than 50% more downloads for your app. So it is very, very critical. So that's it, 5 tips, very quickly. For more information, developerblackberry.com, and I'm available if you have any question by email. I'm very active on Twitter, so it is very easy to get in touch with me. Any question?
He's active in Twitter, but now is the right moment as well. So if there is any questions, please. If no, Luca, you are around the whole day, right?
Absolutely.
Okay,
yeah.
so you may meet people outside as well.
Yeah.
Thank you very much
Thank you
for
very
your
much.
presentation.
Thanks.
Thanks.